Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, part 1, titled The Cosmic Manifestation. First chapter, titled The First Step in God Realization, verse 4. Dehapatya kalatradishu Atma Sainyeshu Asatsapi Tesham Pramatto Nidanam Pashyannapi na pashyati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhayachanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, wife, etc. Although sufficiently experienced, still they do not see their inevitable destruction. Purport. This material world is called the world of death. Every living being, beginning from Brahma, whose duration of life is some thousands of millions of years, down to the microbial germs who live for a few seconds only, is struggling for existence. Therefore, this life is a sort of fight with material nature which imposes death upon all. In the human form of life, a living being is competent enough to come to an understanding of this great struggle for existence. But being too attached to family members, society, country, etc., he wants to win over the invincible material nature by the aid of bodily strength, children, wife, relatives, etc. Although he is sufficiently experienced in the matter of dint of past experience and previous examples of deceased predecessors, he does not see that the so-called fighting soldiers, like the children, relatives, society members, and countrymen are all fallible in the great struggle. One should examine the fact that his father or his father's father has already died, and therefore he himself is also sure to die. And similarly, his children, who are the would-be fathers of their children, will also die in due course. No one will survive in this struggle with material nature. The history of human society definitely proves it. Yet, the foolish people still suggest that in the future, they'll be able to live perpetually with the help of material science. This poor fund of knowledge exhibited by human society is certainly misleading, and it is all due to ignoring the matter of the constitution of the living soul. This material world exists only as a dream due to our attachment to it. Otherwise, the living soul is always different from the material nature. The great ocean of material nature is tossing with the waves of time, and the so-called living conditions are something like foaming bubbles which appear before us as bodily self, wife, children, society, countrymen, etc. Due to a lack of knowledge of the self, we become victimized by the force of ignorance and thus spoil the valuable energy of human life in a vain search after permanent living conditions, which are impossible in this material world. Our friends, relatives, and so-called wives and children are not only fallible, but also bewildered by the outward glamour of material existence. As such, they cannot save us. Still, we think that we are safe within the orbit of family, society, country. The whole materialistic advancement of human civilization is like the decoration of a dead body. Everyone is a dead body flapping only for a few days. And yet, all the energy of human life is being wasted in the decoration of this dead body. Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out the duty of the human being after showing the actual position of the bewildered human activities. Persons who are devoid of the knowledge of Atma Tattva are misguided, but those who are devotees of the Lord have perfect realization of transcendental knowledge are not bewildered. Thus, as the Bhaktivedanta purport. Here, Shukadeva Goswami taking us through very serious sequence of verses. There, in the previous canto, last chapter, Parishit Maharaj, he was about to die. So just his question was, because being exposed to Aryan civilization, he knows what happens next life based on our consciousness. So he asked, what is the duty of the person who is going to die? Now, Shukadeva Goswami, first thing is glorified. Yes, your question is very important. But then, immediately, next 3 verses, as if like a spitting. We see that, it's like, oh, see how the people are situated, how these people are situated, like this. Now, Parishit Maharaj can wonder, I just asked, what is my duty? Why are you scolding? But if you see the seriousness of those 3 verses, so instead of answering, why is he talking about these things? Very interesting perspective. Srila Prabhupada brings it at the fag end of the purport very nicely. Says that Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out the duty of the human being after showing the actual position of the bewildered human activities. So now, always Prabhupada says that if you want to understand the position of the happiness, unless you go through the distress, you cannot appreciate the happiness. So in the same way, this world is full of dualities. So now, if at all you want to feel like something, I don't want to do it, or let me get out of it, so you have to get a hang of it. So, Shukadeva Goswami bringing out that. So now what is this bewildered condition? So the previous verses, if you see, one of the things very important is that envious of each other. So why there is an envy? So very interestingly, scriptures brings out, Krishna bahirmukh jeev bhogavancha kare. I've been with Krishna, but then suddenly I thought, why I should serve Krishna? I want to enjoy like him. Then Krishna said, no, Paya, you cannot. But then I insisted. So now I have come to this material world. Krishna, with very heavy heart, created these universes for us to try our so-called enjoyment. So now I come here. So where is that enjoyment? Comes from, we try to imitate Krishna. So what is that imitation of Krishna? Krishna says in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram yagnatapasam sarvaloka mahesharam suhridam sarvabhutanam. So now the opposite, that's the peace formula. Opposite of that is that Ashanti formula. So what is that? Is that now I am imitating Krishna. So what is that imitation? Sarvaloka mahesharam, I am the controller. So now, if you look at it, the birds, are they struggling? Anything? When they get up in the morning, no anxiety, everything is provided. Then why is there is an anxiety in the human being? Very beautifully Prabhupada explains that the struggle for existence, where it comes from. Not want of food, not want of family life, not want of shelter. And during the Corona time, how many people died of starving? See, everything is taken care. But then what is this struggle is that, Prabhupada very beautifully explains in Bhagavad Gita, the real struggle is to trying to find the resources to lord over. Now I have a small company. Now I work hard. I want to make it double. Why? Now I have 30 people reporting to me. Tomorrow I want to have 100 people reporting to me. So I just want to increase my controlling capacity. So in that way, you reverse that formula. You see everything classically in the human society, how people get trapped into that and then just no peace in their lives. So now what happens? Because everybody is here to control, now whom they will control? So they have to control each other. And everybody wanted to be master. So now, hey, how can you tell me? Who are you? So this is a common thing comes up. So in that way, what happens is that if somebody is trying to control, we become envious. Because he is controlling me, I want to also control like that. So in that way, all this envy comes about. And now, because of this struggle, day in, day out, now what happens is that no peace in our head. So we want to find peace. Now, the so-called material advancement and so the societies and everything brings out. Oh, so-and-so newspaper, so-and-so magazine, so-and-so this, so-and-so this. Now what happens? Because I have rejected Krishna, now what happens? Except Krishna, I want to look at everything else. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nunam Santi Sahasrataha. So there are thousands and thousands of subject matters. You touch mobile, you type one word, it will show you. 100 options. Which website you want to go, sir? Now it is a little more advanced. AI technology. You'll get even more options. So, if you see what is happening with all these things. So very beautifully, in the beginning of Bhagavatam, Vasudeva, foreseeing the future of the people, he has compiled, divided the one Veda into 4 Vedas, 108 Upanishads, 18 Puranas. So much of work he has done. That also not ordinary work, welfare work, welfare of the people. Just imagine, normally when we give some charity, we feel very good about it. Some annadana you do, will feel very good about it. But then, you look at him, he has done, not just imagine, crores and crores of verses he has divided into that much. Just imagine how much work he has done. After all that, he was not happy. He was completely distressed. So he was wondering, I have done so much work, why am I not happy? That also welfare work. Caring for the people, their progress and life, I have done so much for their happy. Out of compassion, I have done so much, but still, why I am not happy? So very beautifully brings out that Krishna, within the heart, he infused in the heart of Vasudeva this kind of vacuum within his heart. Just to make him ponder why he is unhappy and just to make him think about it, why he is unhappy. So in that way, the real thing comes out of him. In the same way, now what happens is that all these hundreds and thousands of subject matters, you go on reading, you go on, open the TV and keep on, surf the channels, one, go on. Now what happens? It only increases the vacuum in the heart. It will never give us the happiness. That is the reality. So just to help us, Vasudeva given this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, that's exactly bringing about Shukadeva Goswami, how the world is situated. See, Prabhupada very beautifully, he begins the purport. The material world is called the world of death. So it's clears us any hope. I want to live like this, I want to do like this. So I have to accept that death is certain. So now, Prabhupada brings out how to every living being, beginning from Brahma, whose duration of life is some thousands of millions of years, it looks Brahma's life, oh, so many millions of years, I can be happy. But down to the microbial germs who live for a few seconds only, is struggling for existence. So what is this struggle? Struggle is that it's a sort of fight with material nature which imposes death upon us all. We want to fight back. Just like you cannot stop becoming old. So I want to fight back. That is the struggle. Just like when long time back, one article had come, one woman wanted to look beautiful, so she went through cosmetic surgery. And then everybody was appreciating it. She was about 30 years. And everybody was appreciating, oh, you look like 20-year-old girl. So wonderful. So everybody, she was like that. After 2 years, she started looking like 50-year-old. So that is the reality of this world. So that is the struggle we go through. That's unwanted struggle and anxieties we go through. So Bhagavatam brings us the beautiful perspective to the reality that we have to accept it. So now, how this struggle is very beautifully situated in this world is that very nicely Bhagavatam in this purport Prabhupada brings out. In the human form of life, a living being is competent enough to come to an understanding of this great struggle for existence. But being too attached to family members, society, country, etc., why the too attachment means maybe I can enjoy like this, maybe they will help me or they will help me like this. So he wants to win over the invincible material nature by the aid of bodily strength, children, wife, relatives, etc. So I want to defend myself. In that way, I try to take shelter of all these available options. Now, internet is popular with all the information. I get some problem, immediately search, why this problem? So now we want to find the solution there in the internet. So in that way, we want to take shelter of somewhere and see how can I solve this problem. Long time back, one person had shared a video. Even when I saw the video, I remember too, I used to do that crazy things. When we are young, energy is there, mind is restless. So mind is already a monkey. So energy and everything fueled by it, it'll go more monkey. So now we go for trekking and then mountains, all these things, and goes trail path and all those things. But then monkey mind, so we don't want to go by the regular trail. So we want to go off the trail. And then we go around. And then there's a dried creeks will be there, river lanes. And then it's all rocky and all looking funny and then looks nice and all that. So we want to go and have fun sometime there. But then here and there little water puddles will be there. But then we know that it is a riverbed. And it is coming from somewhere, the hills and all those things. So even though I was there trying to play around, and then I always anxious, I was keep looking at like this, towards the upside of the river. Why? Because the river always connected to the mountains where either through the rain the river comes down or it connects to the dam. So I'm always looking at little more. See, I'm not free from anxiety. So I was always looking like this and then trying to play around. And then any little stream of water is coming to jump out of the place. So in that way, I was always conscious of it. So when I saw this, in the same way, some few couples had gone for a long weekend trip. And then on the roadside, they ran into this kind of small riverbed, which is almost dried. So like a fun, the families, they all gone inside a little bit. And then little middle of that, they were there and then little taking photos and all those things. And suddenly, the river, such a gush it taken up. Because it connected to the dam. So they would have opened the dam gates. And there is a wife of somebody, and then there's a couple, some couple is there, and husband of somebody, everybody. And there's a husband and somebody's wife, they are standing on the land there. And then now, they want to come out of it, the water force started increasing. And then that lady there, she's stretching her hand and then she's crying for help. Her husband is like just looking at her. And there is another husband is standing there, and then the wife is just helplessly crying. And then she doesn't know what to do and then how to help him. That is the reality in this world. We think that we can be helped by my husband, my wife, my children, our doctor, my opulence, my buildings, all these things, my. But the situation is such that Nothing can help us. Not just the human beings, everywhere this phenomena is there. Just like Bhagavatam brings out Gajendra Moksha, pastime. Gajendra, such a powerful elephant. And then he went to the river to play with his she-elephants, and he was playing, and then suddenly was caught by the crocodile. That crocodile is nothing if he was in the land. He would have just crushed it like that. But then, in the water, it is crocodile's home. So, he was fighting. Just imagine, 1,000 celestial years he was fighting. And then, he was looking for help from the she-elephants, and there are so many, not one, two, many she-elephants are there. None of them could help. So, this kind of hope is not only human beings, in everywhere it is there. Not only with the family beings, anywhere we can repose, just like Duryodhana. In the Bhagavad Gita, he is telling to Bhishmadeva, Aparyaptam, Paryaptam. Our army is Aparyaptam, immeasurable. And whereas Pandavas, Paryaptam, it is measurable. So he is measuring with the strength, thinking that I have this much strength, I am protected. Now we know the destiny of Duryodhana. So you see, this is how all these things. But then funny thing of this material situation is that in spite of all these experiences, hearing, seeing, all these things, we are blind to it. Tomorrow one more River Creek dried bread comes, we'll go. And that is the reality. So that is how that material nature, illusions, creates the illusion. And another thing in this verse says that Pramatta Nidanam. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking what is the duty. So he is clearing out what is the situation of this world, at the same time saying that don't have any hope on this world. What is that? Even see, Pramatta Nidanam. We are mad after sense gratification, rejecting Krishna. I want to try this, and all our activities. Now what we are doing is that Nidanam, creating one's own destruction. And Bhagavatam later brings out what is this destruction. There are about 28 varieties of hellish planets, and 26 or 28, and then there it explains where one deviates from the Vedic regulation, and then what is the hell. Just imagine, if you read all that, you cannot be but grateful to Prabhupada what he has saved us from. Just imagine, just one example I'll give you. Aditi Deva Bhava, they say, right? So, now suddenly a guest appears uninvited way, then what happens? If I just raise the eyebrow, why did you come? Then there is a hellish planet for that. And there is a bird which plucks the eye. So just to see how stringent are the laws. So just imagine now how we should be conducting ourselves. So that is where the Vedic regulations comes up. But at the same time, it's not that we are giving a pessimistic view of this world and it's all useless. And no. And there is one philosopher, about maybe a few hundred years back, who has read Bhagavad Gita and came up with, he's a German philosopher I think, came up with pessimistic philosophy. So this world is useless, nothing, and all those things. So he has his own followers. So one day, it came in the newspaper saying that some of his followers went to some valley in the forest, deep forest, and suddenly they realized that they committed a mass suicide. Because this world is useless, nothing I can do. What is the use of living? That is the reality of these people. So, that is why Prabhupada often brings out bona fide parampara. It's very, very important. How to understand the scriptures, see the scriptures. But then, beauty of Srila Prabhupada, you see, same Bhagavad Gita, same understanding. What did he present? One can see the world is miserable, but then Prabhupada presented in a beautiful such way that Visham Purna Shukayate. This world is full of happiness. So, how we place ourselves, and that is very important. That's exactly Bhagavatam brings out, where Bhagavad Gita ending. If you see, beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was so much lamenting and grief-stricken. Just imagine such a big warrior. He just sitting down and crying like a child and said, I can't fight. And from that condition, Krishna speaks rest of the Bhagavad Gita, 17 chapters, to make him understand what is the reality. So that point onwards, Bhagavatam begins. So Bhagavatam, very beautiful. What is Bhagavatam brings out? You see, just like for example now, how to be situated in this world. It's a very nice, now Kartika Masa we are going through, and every day we sing. And very interesting stanza of the Damodara Astaka. Iti druksva leelabhir ananda kunde swagosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam tadiyeshita agneshu bhaktaya jitatvam punah prematastam shatavritti vande. It's very interesting understanding. Saghosham, see, very beautiful chosen words are there. And then it's mentioned that by his personal pastimes, whose pastimes? Krishna. He plunges the gopis into an ocean of nectar, appreciating your opulence. Krishna is glorifying. Appreciating your opulence, devotees generally declare that you are always subjugated by their feelings. This is a very beautiful, how the Lord reciprocates with his devotees. Saghosham, his own devotees. So now, the Bhagavatam, what is bringing out and why the Lord comes up? It's not that Lord is coming down to show you that, hey, how you are suffering. No. Bhagavatam also not showing. Bhagavatam is giving all views to the reality. What is the reality? How we are entangling ourselves, how we are suffering. At the same time, it gives another reality. So that's exactly Krishna comes down to show that reality. So what is the reality is? Just like in the ads, you see some things, sometimes, any like food things, the person says, so wonderful it is and nice like this. So we also get excited seeing, isn't it? I want to try that too. So in the same way, Krishna comes, Sagosham, with his own entourage, his own devotees, and shows that, hey, look at how much fun is there in the Raja. So just to help us to derive that anchoring. So develop that hankering that I want to enjoy, but then if I realize that what I missed, then immediately. If you see that very beautiful pastime, Damodara pastime, so much of learning is there in that pastime. Bhagavatam very beautifully brings out every pastime of Krishna. There is so much to relation, so much to learn and practice. And one day Krishna comes to Mother Yashoda because he was hungry, and then Mother Yashoda was busy churning the butter, and because she wanted to give best thing to Krishna, and by personally she wants to involve, and then she wants to feed him, take care of him. This is one of the very important things in our life, is that because of our life after life and rejecting Krishna, more or less, we don't want to accept the controller, we become in our dealings impersonalism. So we want to just delegate and do this, do that. But then if you see, everywhere there's a personal contact. Even in our relations, if you see mother, if you just say, okay, go and take this, there's a stove on the top, there's something there. How will you feel if mother personally giving something? How will you feel? It's a difference. So this personal connection is very, very important. So through this incident of this pastime, Mother Yashoda showing that suddenly she's feeding Krishna and then notices that the milk was overflowing there. Then look at everybody, and then all our assistants are busy, maids. So now she wants to attend to it. So now she keeps the Krishna down and then goes to the stove to bring that milk pot down. But then, very beautifully it explained that it is not unjust. Krishna, her son, what is the little milk overflowing? But it's not unjust. Because this is the beautifully, Prabhupada explains that Tadami Buddhi Yoga, when we are sincere, Krishna will help us to prioritize the task in his own service. How to do first, how to do next, all these things. When to do next, all these things. So in that way, the milk is also for Krishna. She wanted to give him that also she gets only a specific cow milk for Krishna, feeding Krishna. So she wants to feed Krishna that specific milk. So she doesn't want to lose it. So she wants to give it. So everything is centered around Krishna. In that way, there is not injustice. And then, but Krishna, naughty, so he was very upset that he was not fed and taken care properly. Then he breaks the pot and goes and hides in some place and takes one part from the hanging, from the roof which is hanging down, and then eating the butter on the top of the mortar, and at the same time is mercifully, as he liked, is giving the butter to the monkeys, fortunate monkeys. So they're getting from the hand of Krishna. That's why Prabhupada says, hey, don't underestimate any living entity in the Vrindavan. You don't know who are they. So they're getting distributed. But Krishna is conscious. When we do some mischievous action, we know somewhere in the pinch in the heart, okay, I did something misdeed and I'll be caught. So he's conscious and feeding the monkeys and he's keep looking here and there, here and there. And then Mother Yashoda, when she comes back and she is that, it's act of Krishna it is. And then she tried to find her way to Krishna. And then when she enters and she sees this beautiful scene, Krishna distributing, and then she wanted to approach stealthily, but Krishna recognizes her presence and then she gets down and starts running. And now, Shukadeva Goswami very beautifully, the contradictions brings out here in this pastime, part of the pastime. Just imagine the yogis, millions of lives with so severe austerities they go through. They want to capture Krishna. And jnanis, upside head, understanding this, and they want to understand Brahman. And then in that way, all these austerities and everything, but still they could not capture Krishna. Now Yashoda, ordinary woman, household woman, not like a jnani or yogi and all that. Now she's going after Krishna, trying to catch him. Now Shukadeva Goswami is saying, look at her. And then everybody looking at, how will she catch? The yogi is great. Yogis cannot catch Krishna. How can she catch Krishna? Then the chase goes on. And then she's a heavy-bodied, and then she's perspiring, and then still running behind Krishna. Then for her, Krishna is her child. That's all, not more than that. So she finally catches Krishna. But then, now, Krishna was seeing Mother Yashoda being caught. He was completely afraid. And then you see the Damodara photo, very beautiful. There's a hand here like this. Are you going to bind me? His expression, very beautiful expression. At the same time, Prabhupada very beautifully says that Krishna was so much afraid that he is thinking that, Govinda, there goes my freedom. His freedom is gone. So at the same time, why she is tying? Not only that, punishment, like at the same time she is concerned that now he is so much scared, he may run away from the house. She doesn't want to Krishna run away from the house. So for both the sake, she ties him to the mortar. But then she wants to tie. And then there, Shukadeva Goswami, very beautiful contradictory things he brings out, saying that Krishna has no beginning, no end, no interior, no exterior, no front, and no rear, and all pervading. And universes are within the tummy. Just imagine now, she is getting some 6 feet rope and then she wants to tie Krishna. As a baby, how much tummy will be there? Few inches. She thought that that much is sufficient. I'll tie him. Now Shukadeva Goswami is saying, how she can tie? Whole universe is there within his tummy. And now she wants to tie that tummy. Now every time she gets the rope and then she's tying 2-inch shatis. Now Krishna is looking at, you want to bind me? Try. And Krishna is playing with her. And then this is Swagosham Nimajjantam. All the neighbor gopis are looking at the fun. What is happening? What is Yashoda is doing? And then all the chasing of Yashoda, and then now she is trying, and then she goes and gets another. Imagine, she gets all the ropes are available. Every time she is getting 2-inch. It would have been hundreds of feet by connecting all the ropes. But then 2-inch shatis is coming. And then all the gopis are having fun seeing this Mother Yashoda struggle. And then Mother Yashoda is also smiling. How is this possible? This rope is so big and still I am not able to tie this tiny devotee, tiny Krishna. Then she is wondering. But then Krishna, very beautifully, Bhagavatam brings out, the love brings sanction. So seeing Krishna, Yashoda Maya struggle to bind him, Krishna finally accepts, agrees to be bound. Then she binds Krishna. But then here a very beautiful thing, and then if you see that binding, very nicely glorified in the pages of Bhagavatam. When the Nalakuvara and Manigriva, when they were freed, we know the rest of the past and Damodara, when they were freed, uprooted both the trees, then they were freed, and then they were offering prayers, and then they goes back, and Krishna, there was a very beautiful smile on Krishna, who was still tied to the mortar. Now he's thinking, he's looking at it, I am able to liberate these two fellows from this curse. Who will liberate me? He is still bound to the mortar. That is the bondage of love. So Krishna cannot be bound by anything but love. And that is why one Avantipura Brahmana glorifies the position of Nanda. Srutim apare srutim itare Bharata manye bhajantu bhavabhitam. It's very beautifully says. Somebody is worshipping Vedas, somebody worshipping Upanishads, and somebody worshipping Bharatam, Mahabharatam. Why? Now we were discussing how this material world is situated. Is Dukhalayam, Ashashvatam? It's like a world of death. So when somebody has this idea, now our understanding a little bit comes by through hearing here and there and seeing, so they will take shelter of these things. Bhajantu bhavabhitaha, fear of this material existence. But then, somebody can ask, are you not afraid of anything? So you don't worship anything? No, I am also afraid. But I worship whom? Ahamiha Nandam Vande. I worship Nanda Maharaj. Why? Nanda Maharaj. Yashalinde Parabrahman. In whose courtyard that Parabrahma is crawling. See the greatness of that Nanda Maharaj. I want to worship that Nanda Maharaj. But then, Shukadeva Goswami brings out another beautiful understanding. You see, much more greater personality is there. Personality than Nanda Maharaj. Who is that? The glory of Yashoda. Very beautifully says that, Nemam virincho nabho nashri rapyanga shamstaya prashadam lebire gopi yettat prapa vimukti dhat. It very nicely says that, neither Neham virincho, neither Lord Brahma, na bhavo, nor Lord Shiva, nor even goddess of fortune, who is always better off of the Supreme Lord, can obtain the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the deliverer from this material world, Prapa Vimuktidat, who gives liberation, that mercy is received by Yashoda Maya. Mother Yashoda. See that mercy is glorifying. See that how she is playing and how she is able to catch him, how she is able to tie him, how she is binding him. You see how what mercy, how Krishna is just. And Yashodha, dha, bhakti da gives bhakti. Yashodha means who gives fame. Yashodha. So now just see, this is the beauty of relation between the devotees and Krishna. Krishna wants to glorify the devotees and devotee wants to glorify Krishna. So Yashoda glorifying Krishna, saying that how that Supreme Lord is gets subjugated under his devotees. But then Krishna is glorifying Mother Yashoda. See the position of Mother Yashoda. Nobody's got this mercy and she's got out of her intense love and devotion towards him. So this is the beautiful thing. So now, when we expose it to all these things through the pages of Bhagavatam, it's exactly Bhagavatam bringing out actually what is the real happiness, what is the reality, and this world, everything. So now what happens at that time? Pashyannapi na pashyati, that will be other way. Now what happens? Our hankering, our hankering will be in the same. Damodara Ashtaka very nicely explains. Idam te mukhambojam atyanta nilay vrutam kuntalay snigdha rakta ischa gopya muhuschumbitam bimba rakta dharam me manasya virastam alam lakshalabhay. So very beautifully composed this poem. And if you see, Krishna is a small child and then baby with the blue chubby cheeks, and Mother Yashoda, she's got attracted to the child, and automatically see now normally mother and child relation, always they want to kiss the child cheeks and everything. So mother also is like kissing and everything, and then cheeks have become red, and then he's got beautiful curly hair, black curly hair, and it is glorifying very nicely, saying that the cheeks of your lotus feet, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become red and like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda kisses. Just imagine that Supreme Lord holding him and kissing him and then catching him, all these things. So now he's saying, Acharya is saying, what more can I describe than this? Millions of opulence are of no use to me. Then what do you want? He's saying, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. Such beautiful pastime, such beautiful image, where the reciprocation you see, and that reciprocation I want to remember Krishna. Life after life, I don't want anything else. If you see, this exactly Bhagavatam brings out by just hearing the Krishna's pastimes, just hearing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You see, now by continuously hearing these pastimes, now what happens is that the hopes, all these illusory hopes, what we have placed life after life, it makes us to see the reality. At the same time, it's not monopolized to somebody to be part of the Krishna's pastime. Saghosham. Anybody can enter. This is the beauty of Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada, just imagine. Some other time we'll share. Actually, serving Krishna is not so easy. At the same time, going to Goloka Vrindavana is like next to, you can't even think about it. Just to give a gist of it, just see. If at all I want to become something rich in this world, how much difficulty one has to struggle. Just think of heavenly planets if I have to go. How many austerities, how many sacrifices. Just imagine if I have to go to Brahmaloka. I have to drill my consciousness with all kind of yogas and meditations. And that also, whole thing is within the world. If I want to get some siddhis, how much circus I have to go through, yoga circus. And just imagine out of this world to Vaikuntha planets and how much difficulty. Above all the Vaikuntha planets is the Goloka Vrindavana, and Krishna is saying, you can go back to Goloka Vrindavana in this life. That is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada. Just imagine what Srila Prabhupada has given so easily to us. So it's not so difficult. It's all in our hands. And that is why Vasudeva Ghosh Acharya, Srila Vasudeva Ghosh explains very nicely. Gauranga tumi more dhyana chadiha apana korya ranga charane rakiha. Very beautiful bhajan, very meaningful bhajan. He says that don't stop and prevent yourself giving me your daya. Why there is no hankering for Gauranga Daya, Krishna Daya? Because we don't have any idea. I'm thinking morning to night, where can I work, where can I earn, and where can I get this, where can I earn, my family is there, my children is there, society is there, this is there. So all my daya is, trying to seek daya from these sources. So now I don't have any idea. That's exactly to give us an idea of what is the Krishna daya. This is Bhagavatam is talking, showing us. So why we should go after? And he's saying, apana korya range charano rakhya. So he's saying that kindly keep me situated at the reddish soles of your lotus feet. So now, how can I get there? Very nicely says, Tamara charana lagi sabte yagilu, Sitala charana paya sharana loilu. So now, with the intention of attaining your feet, have utterly renounced everything. Oh, it means that everybody took sannyasa, family life, we go and go. No. That's another beauty of Srila Prabhupada's thing. One day one person asked Prabhupada, so should I wear this kind of, your disciples dress like this and wear shika and then to practice this? Prabhupada said, no. You can practice Krishna consciousness in your own suit and boot. Prabhupada said. So that is the beauty of it. Sthane sthita sthitigatam tanuvan manopi. It is not that you have to give up. So what you have to give up then? The give up is hope against the hope. That this exactly in these words it is bringing about. Pasyanapina pashyat, I am seeing, but I am still hoping the hope against. People have worked hard and earned and then trying to find happiness. And then I am thinking that in the past they are dead and gone and tried all this. And I am thinking that, oh, now I got a job. I will become rich. I will become manager. I will become acquire this company. I will be happy. That is the Bhagavatam bringing out. Sir, see the reality. So that hope they are saying, please pass on to it. And then now next he says that, Ekule ukule mui dilu tilanjali raki ho charane more apanara boli. See, now if you want to make the Lord feel that His own, now this kind of bodily thing, oh, I belong to that heritage, that family, this, that society, all this thing, Vasudeva Ghosh, Srila Vasudeva Ghosh is saying, forget it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very simply says, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says? Says that, yes, Sarvapadi, but then he says that, Gopi Bhartu Padakamayo Dasa Dasa Dasanu Dasaha. I am not a sannyasi, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, not a brahmachari, vanaprastha, brahmana, nothing, kshatriya, nothing. What are you? You are a wall? No. He is saying, Gopi Bhartu Padakamayo Dasa Dasanu Dasaha. That is the connection when we have, and then hanker after that, then what happens? Krishna is here very nicely says that, I beg you to mercifully keep me by your feet, calling me your own. So when we feel that, and then when we intensely desire that, and when we read the scriptures and then develop that intense hankering, and then you start feeling, even little bit of reading, little bit of thinking about this, what you read, you start feeling the difference in your consciousness. And if you see, the very reason we are all sitting and hearing is that we have felt certain difference. So that is the beauty of this Bhagavatam. And first canto is already discussed. Sunatam Sakatam Krishna Punyasravana Kirtana Vidyantasto Yabhadrani Vidhunoti Urusurut Satam. How it cleanses us and how it keeps us, that is the beauty of it. So in that way, this reciprocation of Krishna in our life, it brings us immense happiness. So the more we absorb in this, the more we chant and doing things, we start perceiving his reciprocations. If you see, even the title Vishwaguru, there are so much of people talk about it and all this and all that. Is it like a farce? We already claim that Prabhupada is Jagat Guru. Then what is that big deal about giving Vishwaguru? Is it? But you see, there are threefold understandings are there. Very beautiful things are there. This is exactly the reciprocation between Prabhupada and Krishna. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary personality. If you read his pastimes and look into the eyes of Shastra, you see, you will understand the position of Prabhupada. Some other time we'll discuss some of that pastimes. And so beautifully the position of Prabhupada. And when once devotees ask Prabhupada, I'll just take 2 more minutes. Just Prabhupada, you already established ISKCON. Now it's in India also, we have many centers. Now we have completed India and all the continents, we have already, temples are all there. Now you are actually the Vishwaguru. Prabhupada says, no, my Guru Maharaj is given, Prabhudatta, the western land he has given me as my service agent. So Prabhupada very humbly says, no, he says. But then Krishna, will he keep quiet? He wants to glorify. Vishwamurti Sokeshame, he is the Lord of the universe. So now the devotee who glorified him, took Jagannath out of Puri and took Krishna out of Vrindavana. He is not like confined to that. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu from Navadvipa, he took all of them and put on the world map and said that you be there. So now they glorified them so much, so will they be quiet? So now you see all these things. Now this exactly Srila Prabhupada brings out when the devotees, 3 couples goes to London and then they were struggling and then trying to establish some kind of a footing there in London. So that time an Indian person who saw them, he writes to Prabhupada a letter saying that I have seen your disciples, I had interacted with them, they are so humble and then very gentle in behavior and the way they talk and then receive people and then the way they do things and then at the same time the knowledge and very knowledgeable and then very important thing is I could see that the devotion in their hearts and then in their behaviors, how wonderfully they are situated. So he's glorifying, written to that letter to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada writes the letter to the devotees. They're saying that this is how one glorifies his spiritual master. This is the second fold. First fold is Krishna's reciprocation. Second is that devotee's glorification. And the devotees always looks at it, how can I glorify my spiritual master? So Prabhupada very nicely explains in the first canto, second chapter, when Shukadeva Goswami, before explaining Bhagavatam, he glorifies Sudha Goswami explaining, he glorifies Shukadeva Goswami. And there very nicely says that, yes, Swanubhavam Srutisaramekam very nicely says that what is the position of Shukadeva Goswami. There in that context, Prabhupada says that one should glorify one's spiritual master by his qualities and his activities. So this is how our Vyasa Puja offering, we should always meditate. I always tell the devotees, the moment this year I submit my Vyasa Puja offering, preparation for next year, it begins. So we always see how can we glorify what we read, what we hear, everything. Can I glorify using this Prabhupada? Can I do this? So this is our duty. What Prabhupada has given, if we more read it and more understand it, more realize it, you will see what actually Prabhupada did for us. So it's our duty to glorify him. And third and very most important is that Vishwaguru, the title who have given him, they themselves is saying that for him it's like an offering, like a lamp to the sun. What is the meaning? He is a Jagat Guru. What is the meaning of Vishwaguru? It's all thing. But then why did we hanker on all those things? If you see, there's a very beautiful understanding to this. When the devotees started going to South India for preaching and fundraising for the Vrindavan project, so they goes to Udupi and they meet lot of matas there and some Mayavadi matas and Vaishnava matas and Madhva matas and everything. So then they writes to Prabhupada and shares those letters. So they're saying, then sends the letters to Prabhupada saying that Prabhupada, they have given us in writing these letters that ISKCON is very authorized movement. And then Prabhupada, seeing that, he was so happy. And every time there was a court case and when the judge favors us, Prabhupada was very happy. And then where there's a professor gives some kind of a feedback and then appreciates the movement and everything. Prabhupada is very happy. What is that? Prabhupada is seeing that how our movement is accepted by the communities, the worldwide. Now just imagine the people who had gathered there in the Prayag and then giving this title, and they're not doing lip service. If you see that, they're talking from their heart and with full conviction, and they're completely seen and convinced what actually one person has done to this whole world. And then they saw that, and at the same time, please remember, they're all not like Vaishnava background. They come from the Mayavadi. If you see Prabhupada's Pranam mantra, what is that? Sunyavadi Pachat Deshatarine. What is that? One more before that? Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pachat Deshatarine. Whole world is pervaded this impersonalism. The people who went out of India is the impersonalists. They messed up the whole world. So now Prabhupada went and cleaned all the mess. So now just imagine those people appreciating it. Just imagine what immense pleasure Prabhupada would have got out of this. It's not out of the title. What the devotees have done there and what the devotees have achieved. All these organizations unanimously agreeing to Prabhupada's works, and then the movement, position of the ISKCON. Just imagine, that gives real pleasure to Prabhupada. So now everything else is the duty of the disciple to glorify all these things. So now in that way you see how Krishna's reciprocations and all these, at the same time spiritual master also, he is reciprocates. The devotees try to glorify, at the same time he reciprocates, glorifies the devotee. How does the spiritual master glorify the devotee? It's not like, okay, chala bhaiya, take this 100 rupees. No. He blesses the transcendental knowledge, realizations, and then purity to the disciple. So through that, he will become famous as a great devotee. So that is the glory. If you see now ISKCON Bangalore devotees, devotees so wonderfully, sincerely devoted to Prabhupada and working, and then how they are situated in this world, you can see. Anywhere you go in the world, you say, I'm from ISKCON Bangalore. Oh, you are from ISKCON Bangalore. That is the thing. You see, that is the glory of Prabhupada and reciprocation. So this, when we relish all these reciprocations, what is this? Getting this opulence and that position, this position. Livelihood is different from the life. We draw a line and then we say Hare Krishna to all those things. So it's a very wonderful things are there. We'll further discuss. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanand.